All right, hey y'all, Mr. Kyle, Myers Mathematics, and let's just jump into it with the quadratic formula. We're looking at 17 and 18. These are the last ones on the quadratic formula that we want to look at, look into, what have you. So let's do that. Why do I have it on orange? I want it on blue. There we go. So we have the formula sitting up here at the top for your convenience. X equals negative b plus or minus the square root of b squared minus 4ac all over 2a. And why do I have a 1 right there? Oh, I forgot to change the date. There's like a 1 there. 24. All right, no more squirrel moments. We're getting into this. So before we use the quadratic formula, we want to set everything equal to 0, just like we would if we are factoring it. So I'm going to add n squared, and you might be thinking like, oh, well, if I'm adding n squared, then what is that even going to be? Like n to the fourth? Like, what do I even do with that? There's no number. Where's the number? Well, you know, like when somebody asks you for a pencil, and it's like, hey, can I have a pencil? How many pencils do you think they're talking about? One pencil. So anytime you don't see a number in front of a letter, there's one of them. That's just kind of the assumed number. So just keep that in mind so that you don't try to add something incorrectly. This is 8n squared plus 1n squared. 8 plus 1 is 9. That's 9n squared plus 4n minus 16 equal to 0. And then we can say what a, b, and c are. So a is 9. B is 4. C is negative 16. You have to include the minus sign. If it's a minus, then you have to include that as like a negative. So if I were to rewrite it, then I would say 9n squared plus 4n plus a negative 16. Because it's, you know, that's just how it works. So anyways, we have our A, B, and C. And if you've watched another video on this worksheet, the quadratic formula worksheet, then you know that I like to kind of split the quadratic formula up. I like to kind of have the square root part as its own thing, because that's where most of the simplifying happens anyways. So we put that in here. So that's going to be x is equal to negative b plus or minus squared, b squared minus 4ac. So b squared minus 4 times a times c. There we go. All right, so then that's going to be 4 squared is 16 minus, and then 4 times 9 is going to be 36. Actually, hold on. Let's do 9 and 6, because isn't that, it's what, 3, 4, 12, 144. Yeah, it's 144. So that'd be 4 times 144. And that's going to be negative, and a negative makes a positive eventually. And then that's 4 times that, so it's going to be 288, and then 28 is 56, 576. Did I do that too fast? 28, no. Hold on, 28. And then double the 28 is 556. So that would be 576. Yeah, 576. I'm overthinking it. 576. Which is actually a square number as well, because that would be what, 12, and then times 2 is 24. So 24 squared. Yeah. Fun facts. You can also do this in the calculator if you have a calculator, and you're allowed to use a calculator. Probably would do it that way if I was taking this on a test or something, just because it would be faster. 1 and 7 make 8, and 1 more makes 9. 592. It's such a weird number. Such a weird number. Definitely weird. Let's see. So I want to say that's going to divide by 16, and that'll simplify down a little bit. I'm really tempted to use a calculator now, actually, because these are pretty big numbers. Just to you know, make sure I'm doing everything right here. All right, so 4 times 4 minus 4 times 9 times negative 16. I'm just going to put, no, I'll put a negative in there, because I need a negative. How do I put an extra negative? All right, let's just do this. Let's just put plus. Yeah, let's change that to a plus. There we go. Yeah, 592. Okay. And then, does that have a square root? 592? I'm curious. No, it's close to 24 because it's, yeah, that makes sense. It will simplify, though, a little bit because that's going to, is that divide by 16? It does divide by 16. Oh, look at that. Okay. I had a suspicion because 576 is going to divide by 16, and then I'm adding 16 to that. So it was 36 16s, and then I add another 16, so that's 37 16s altogether. Yeah. Okay. I was having a brain fart for a second there. Lo siento. Okay. So then that's going to be 4 root 37. All right. We are on the last two on this worksheet, just to be fair here. So not all of them are this difficult. These are the last two on the worksheet. So x is equal to, so I'm gonna put a little barrier here. X is equal to negative b plus or minus the square root of b squared minus 4ac, which all of that simplified down to 4 root 37 all over 2a, and a is 9. So it looks like I'm going to get a factor of 2 to cancel out, but after that, that's pretty much it because there's not much else to do here. The square root of 37, can't do anything with that, so that's kind of a double-edged sword. It's nice because I don't have as much to factor out. I can factor out a 2. And then once I factor out this 2, I would have negative 2 plus or minus 2 root 37 over 9, and then times 2. So those 2's are going to cancel. And then that's it, actually. So it really doesn't simplify more than that, unfortunately, or fortunately. So it's a double-edged sword because it's an ugly answer. It's not a very satisfying answer. However, it means that we didn't have to simplify it as much. Prettier answers require more simplifying. So that's, take that how you will. But yeah, so that's what we get for our solution here. I'm going to drop this down a little bit so you can see it. With an answer that's this ugly, it's hard to plug it back in to check it, but it is possible. If you're using a calculator, you want to be really careful plugging this back in. I wouldn't do this by hand. So you could check it that way. But because the answer is irrational, because the square root of 37 you can't do anything with it, there's no way to factor it and check it that way. The only other way you could solve this by using some other method besides the quadratic formula would be to do completing the square, which you could do, and it would give you the answer. It would give you the same answer. Should give you the same answer. But I don't think we'll check it doing that way. I think we'll go ahead and jump right into 18 here. So speaking of, let's do that. We want to set it equal to 0 first. Plus 7, plus 7. Dun, 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 dun. Speaking of factoring, you can always check to see if something factors. The instructions say we have to solve with the quadratic formula, but if you can factor it, that's at least a way that you could check your work. So I don't think a teacher would be mad at you if you used factoring to check to make sure you got the right answer, as long as you're using the quadratic formula to get the answer as well. I think that's probably going to be fine. I don't know your professor, so that's up to you guys, I guess, to figure that out. But I would say, as if you can factor it, then do that also, just to check to make sure you got it right. Especially if you're taking a test, you want to make sure you try to get the highest grade possible, right? So 8 times 8 is 64. I don't think any factors of 64 are going to, not that I can think of. Yeah, because they're all going to be even factors. And then you're subtracting 2 even numbers. Yeah, so that's not going to work. So this one's probably going to be an irrational solution as well. So let's go ahead and just jump into it here. A is equal to 8. B is, what am I doing with the commas? B is equal to 7. C is equal to negative 8. So let's go ahead and do that thing we did. B squared minus 4ac. B squared minus 4 times A times C. So 8 times 8 is 64. 64 times 4, let's see, that'd be 128, 256, and that's positive 256. Because I'm timesing 2 negatives, that's going to be a 49. So it's a square root on that whole thing, square root on that whole thing. Can you guys still see that? Yeah, it's like I got space. Okay. So then 9 and 6, that's going to be 15. Carry a 1. And then that's going to be 5, and 5 make 10. And then that's 305. Okay. That doesn't look like it's going to simplify. It definitely divides by 5. Because it ends in 5. Goes in 61 times. I think 61's prime. Pretty sure it's prime. Does it divide by 7? No, it doesn't divide by 7. Yeah. Yeah, so we can't do anything with that. Wow. Okay. Well, I mean, like I said, I mean, it's kind of a good thing, kind of a bad thing. It doesn't have any square numbers hiding out in there. So we would just go ahead and head on over and do our thing. So x is equal to negative b plus or minus the square root of b squared minus 4ac, the 305 thing. Put a little border there. All over 2a. So all over 2 times a. And once we simplify that, we're done. Actually, this doesn't really simplify at all because I can't factor anything out of the square root like I could on problem 17. So this is that double-edged sword. It's really ugly. It looks like something else should happen, but nothing else does. That's it. Like that's the answer. I mean, that's it. So it's like I said, it's kind of a good thing, kind of a bad thing. So I'm gonna double check it real quick. But while I'm gonna try to multitask here. While I'm double checking this, um, this is the last one of this. I think I have only one more of these Algebra 1 worksheets through Kuta software, and then we're done with this series. It's been a long series. It's definitely the longest series by far. Um, so I did do my math right there and got 305. Definitely the longest series so far, and we've got one more video, one more worksheet to go through because I'm wrapping up this worksheet with 17 and 18 today. So I mean, that's crazy. I think I'm gonna focus more on calculus moving forward, but I'll try to have a little bit more variety moving forward as well. So look out for that. If you want more resources other than what I have on YouTube, I have stuff on my website as well, so you can check that out. Go to myersmathematics.com, link in the description below. And like on the front page, I have something called the 5 math mistakes everyone makes and how to avoid them. So you can go check that out. That's a free PDF that you can grab. So go check it out, and I'll catch you in the next video real soon. Blessings, y'all.